Let's bring in right now Hugh Odom. He's a former attorney for AT&T and founder of
here to further discuss the big
Consultants,
concerns
which
surrounding
represents
the
joint
Yeah, I mean, how much money does a typical cell tower lease make? And I know that's a super open-ended question, but like, what determines this value or the price you can charge for it?
Well, it kind of goes back to understanding where most people, when they're presented a cell tower lease. So if I came out to you today and you had a property and you're presented a cell tower lease, you would see an amount typically, and depending on if you're in a rural area versus an urban area, depending on what you are, somewhere between $700-800 a month to maybe a couple $1,000s a month. Okay, with an escalator, let's say 2 or 3%, and let's just use a 30-year term. The worst thing you can do from that perspective is looking at what other people have been paid. You have to understand the value of that one site. Also, all an AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, or any cell tower company wants you to do is just this very basic thing. This is all they're trying to get you to do financially. Agree to that rent, agree to that escalator, agree to that term. Why? Because if I get you to agree to a 30-year lease of $2,000 a month and a 3% escalator, I have fixed my cost over that period of time. And no matter how much value I get as a cell tower company, I don't have to pay you anymore because I've fixed my cost. Now just think of it this way. I use this example for years. If I came out to you today, you had a piece of land, let's say it's in a rural area, and I said to you, I'm not from a cell tower company, but I'm from Exxon. And I want to put a drill out here, and I'm going to use that area of your property, and I'm going to pay you $5,000 a month. And I'll increase it every year by 3%. Your first question, I bet, would be how much oil you're going to be getting, right? You want to be paid not only based upon how much space they're using, but how much value they're deriving. Because you look at it as a utility. Okay, so just if you close your eyes and you look at a cell tower and you look at an oil rig, they're very much the same. One is pulling value from the ground, one is pulling value from the sky. And the worst mistake property owners make is they think small. They think about rent and they don't think about structure. If they understand that they need to be paid not only based upon the space being used, but the value being derived, you can have leases that are worth, over the value of the lease, a couple $1 million to $10-15 million over the life of those leases. And if you go to sell those leases as well, that's understanding value and structure and not looking at it about what other people are getting paid because after the last 20, 30 years, the cell tower companies have the advantage of getting really good deals. So if you look at those deals they've already gotten, you're just perpetuating the bad deals. Property owners contact us all the time, and they're not contacting us that have existing leases, I should say. They're not contacting us because they're happy. They're contacting us because they understand they got kind of railroaded a little bit and they're undervalued. And the reason isn't just because they agreed to a lower rent than they should have. The reason is they didn't properly structure that lease. I mean, I can't tell you how much value is out there. The average lease is undervalued between $1 to $1.5 million. Wow, just think about that. You have something that's going to, that you have on your property that you've just undervalued just because you didn't understand how to structure correctly.
Yeah. So if somebody already has an existing lease in place, like, is there any way to go back to the negotiation table, or has that ship already sailed?
The answer is yes, you do. You have it. We've been in business for 12 years, and we've gone back with leases with 15, 20 years plus. Because here's the thing. As I mentioned at the start of the show, I was an attorney inside AT&T for a very long time. When you're trying to draft an agreement, if you're on the cell tower side, that's going to be for 20, 30, 40 years, you can't throw a blanket over everything. There's things that are going to pop up that you don't have under that agreement. And if you understand what they need and what they're lacking, that being the cell tower company, you can go in. If you understand the value of the site, you can go in. You always have an opportunity to either go in right now or have a strategy to go in when they contact you. But yes, definitely yes. It's one of the most misunderstood parts of a cell tower agreement. People say, well, I have 15 years left on the agreement. There's no way I can renegotiate. Definitely not. There's always a way to get back in it if you understand what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get more money, get a better lease, get vertical. Contact us today.